Now we're continuing with part 2. I'm doing this the same day and everything, so you probably get this the same day as part 1. I thought that having part 1 and 2 gonna be a long video, so I might do this. And the sun. What is going on with you? Hallå? Eller liksom, what the Okay, sorry. This is not a child-friendly channel. Let me tell you that. I'm gonna swear a lot, and if you don't like it, sorry. I know some people don't like it, but I'm Swedish, we swear a lot. Basically in every sentence, so yeah. I'm bad at words, okay? But the sun is just annoying me at the moment. But anyways, let's go. And I would really like to thank Tank the Tech again for giving me like confidence to do this. And I'm sorry about my hair. My hair. I don't know. English is my second language, okay? Like everyone else in Europe. But anyway, let's do part 2. Part 2.
With both sides stuck in a hard stalemate, they knew this war wasn't going to be about taking territory, but about simply wearing each other down.
Yeah.
The Allies had plenty of men to expend from its overseas dominions, and the British also started a naval blockade, so Germany couldn't import stuff, like food. Neither side really wanted a long, grueling war, though, so they both thought of ways to break the deadlock on the Western Front. Idea number 1, new frontiers. When the war first broke out, Australia was quick to take German New Guinea. The Allies also quickly jumped on Germany's colonies in Africa, and particularly in Germany.
Yeah, I still don't understand why we have colonies everywhere. I understand maybe like, oh my god, this hair is just annoying me. Wow. This is just annoying. Wow, my hair. Please stop, okay? But I still don't understand why we have colonies. I mean, really. I know the old times maybe, like finding America, Africa and stuff. We didn't find Africa, but still, you know. But today, why? 19, 15, 16, whatever. Why? You just don't understand it. Alright, let's go.
In East Africa, locals were enlisted as soldiers and carriers by both sides, leading to a tragic loss of life for the native Africans.
Yeah.
Some new combatants entered the war as well. The Allies' new friends were Italy and Japan. Japan was busy building itself an empire, so it was more than happy to take away German islands and colonies in East Asia. Italy actually had an alliance with Germany and Austria-Hungary before the war, but after some tense relations, and then the Allies promising to give them some of Austria-Hungary's stuff, they switched sides.
Yep.
Italy opened up a front in the mountains here, but like everyone else, they were stuck in stalemate for most of the war. The Central Powers' new friend was a struggling empire in the Middle East. The
Ottoman Empire.
The Ottoman were divided on whether to actually join the war or not, since they had been exhausted by the recent Balkan Wars. Some of the politicians who did want to join went off on their own and fired some shells at Russia, and then came back and said, whoops, looks like we're at war now. The Ottoman entry into the war was of particular concern to the British, since the Middle East was full of oil, and Britain wanted all of that oil. First, the Ottomans tried to attack Russia in the Caucasus Mountains, but they weren't prepared for the cold, and many of them froze to death. Then they crossed miles of desert to take the Suez Canal from the British, but that failed too.
Didn't work, yeah.
Then the Allies tried to take the Dardanelles at Gallipoli in a long and hard trench warfare campaign, but that also failed. The Ottomans blamed their initial losses on the ethnic Armenians living within Ottoman territory, and the resulting Armenian genocide led to the deaths of 1.5 million people.
I mean, I don't understand. I know it's war, but why? Why? It's stupid. I'm sorry, I'm just ranting about war. I know, it's war. It says we're gonna have rain. There's literally no cover of those white things. I know the Swedish word. I don't remember the English word. Is it moln? I don't know. Whatever. Yeah, let's just go.
Then the Germans sent spies into Afghanistan to try to convince the Arab tribes there to rise up in jihad against the British and attack India. But that plan failed, partly because the spies got bored, brewed their own alcohol, and got drunk, which is a bad thing to do in Afghanistan.
Yeah, got drunk. It's stupid. It's so funny, but it's stupid. Like, why? Why?
All these new frontiers hadn't done much to change the war. Aware that the Allies had more men and supplies than them, the Germans knew they had to do something to break the stalemate. Before the war, there was a big conference that set out the rules of modern
Hague
warfare. No
conference.
chemical weapons, no killing civilians. Basically, don't be jerks.
And they failed.
The Germans held a meeting and decided to
Yep,
be jerks.
be jerks. Yep.
Zeppelin air raids commenced over British cities. They also started attacking the Allied trenches with chlorine gas, and they used submarines to sink civilian ships. One such civilian ship was the Lusitania, which had 159 Americans on board when it was sunk.
Yeah, I remember Lusitania. I heard about that. I heard about that actually.
Further swaying US opinion against the Germans.
America.
Not to be completely unfair to the Germans, the Allies also engaged in chemical warfare soon after, and they had been hiding anti-submarine weapons on their civilian ships,
It's so bad.
which let the Germans justify their attacks.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Austria-Hungary still hadn't dealt with Serbia, so the Central Powers enlisted some help. Bulgaria wished it was bigger and was still bitter about losing the Second Balkan War. The Central Powers promised to make all of Bulgaria's wildest dreams come true if they helped, so they signed on, and together they knocked out Serbia. The Serbian troops retreated through Albania, which was neutral but had some ties to Austria-Hungary. So Austria-Hungary entered Albania in a friendly invasion to chase down the Serbians, many of whom escaped by sea.
Yeah.
It's 1916, and a lot is happening.
And
As if they didn't have enough enemies already, Germany added one more to the list. Portugal had been getting a bit chummy with the Allies behind the scenes, and Germany didn't like that one bit.
Okay.
Around the
Portugal.
same time, the only sea battle of the war happened. Both sides had a new powerful class of battleships called dreadnoughts, but they were so expensive to build that neither side wanted to risk losing them in a battle. So they
Yep. They actually had one battle. Battle of Jutland. It's stupid. They damaged each other. Never did it again. It cost too much. Just no battles with it. We're gonna have them in ports at home to show how big we are, but we're not gonna do anything with them. Just stupid.
They kept them in port, except for one time
Yep,
when they
Battle
had a
of
big
Jutland.
fight and a bunch of them got damaged, so they didn't try that again.
Yep.
The UK started conscripting men to the army, so they had plenty of reserves, which is just as well because the Western Front was about to get brutal. The longest and one of the bloodiest battles of the war started when the Germans launched an attack around the French city of
300
Verdun.
days.
The French defended it desperately, leading to hundreds of thousands of casualties.
Yeah.
Under pressure, the
And
French
then
called
some.
on its allies to do something to draw the Germans' attention away, so the British started their own long and brutal fight, the Battle of the Somme.
And I think the one who wrote Lord of the Rings was there. Tolkien. He actually took some parts. For example, "You shall not pass" is a French saying in the war. And it took a lot of battle, influence from battles and tactics to show some, to show basically in the films, in the battles. Yeah, he took some tactics and stuff from Battle of the Somme. It was pretty awesome to see that actually. And George Lucas took some things like stormtroopers and stuff like that from World War One. So it was a pretty influential war in movie and culture and stuff. Of course, but you know what I mean.
With 60,000 British casualties on just the first day.
Yeah.
It was also here that the British first used one crazy brand new piece of sci-fi technology.
Yeah.
The Russians had been getting pushed back further and further into their own territory, but in response to the French call for help, they began a huge offensive, and did really well until they ran out of supplies and got stuck. Seeing how well the Russians had been doing, Romania decided now would be a great time to jump in and win the war, and then they got pounded. The Greeks were fighting amongst themselves about whether to join the war or not. The king liked the Central Powers, while the Prime Minister wanted to join the Allies.
This is so stupid. I love the animation and the character he has. Wow. It's so stupid. I love it. It's just so simplified. Of course. I mean, it's fun as fuck.
After a brief national schism, during which the country split into two, the king finally abdicated and the country reunited.
Yeah.
With Allied help, they began a new offensive. In the Middle East,
Russia
was pushing into Ottoman territory from the north. The British had also made a landing in Mesopotamia to protect Persia's oil fields.
Of course.
And they had also sent a small army up the Tigris River to try to take Baghdad.
Didn't go.
But the army got sieged in the town of Kut along the way, and eventually surrendered. A new offensive was launched from the south with all-out desert warfare. The offensive was aided by one famous British officer, better known as Lawrence of Arabia, who helped lead the Arab tribes in a revolt that wreaked havoc on the Ottoman supply lines. By the time 1917 rolled around, everyone was exhausted. There were mutinies in the French army, the German populace was starving, and the war had drained all of Russia's supplies. There was no clear winner, and it was still anyone's war. The only question now was, who was going to break first?
Russia.
And the answer was Russia.
Yep.
Tired of not eating and mad that a crazy magic homeless guy was calling some of the shots, there was an uprising in Petrograd complete with riots and strikes. The riots turned into a full-scale revolution and a new government overthrew the Tsar. Then a few months later, the Bolsheviks overthrew the new government.
Yeah,
and they pulled Russia out of the war. This was great news for Germany, who now only had to focus on the Western Front. But there was still one problem. The pesky United States of America was looking increasingly like it was going to join the war. America had been selling supplies to the Allies throughout the war and was getting super rich off the back of it, meaning it was in fantastic shape and was dangerous to the Germans. So Germany sent a telegram to Mexico saying, wouldn't it be crazy cool if you guys attacked America?
No.
But the British intercepted the message, showed it to the Americans, and that was the final straw. American troops began shipping out to Europe. This was terrible news for Germany, and they knew their only hope now was to force France and the UK to surrender before the fresh American troops arrived.
But
it
here
was
they
now
come.
or never, so they started one final attack. They converged their troops and hit hard at the Somme and pushed the Allies back.
And
they
one
hit
more,
a second
I think.
time further north, and again and again.
Ooh.
With each hit, the Germans were spending more and more resources, while the Allies were getting better and better at repelling their attacks. By the fifth punch, the Allies held the line and even pushed back. With American troops now arriving in larger numbers, the Allies launched a counterattack, and that was it. The Central Powers were being pushed back on all fronts.
Yeah.
Bulgaria collapsed first, followed by the Ottoman Empire, then Austria-Hungary, and finally on November 11th, 1918, at 11 o'clock, Germany surrendered. At the peace treaty, Germany was forced to reduce its military, accept war guilt, and pay the bill for the war.
Versailles is probably the most stupid fucking treaty ever. It's the most stupid contract treaty, whatever you want to call it, ever. It blew Germany to pieces, basically. They had no economy because they had to actually, dish out the money for the war. It's insane what it did to Germany. And that's basically why Hitler came to be Hitler. Basically. He disliked the Versailles as hell. He hated it. And he wanted to reunite the German people, which is understandable why the German people actually liked him. It's totally understandable. But then he did have some weird stuff going on. We're probably gonna look at World War II Oversimplified as well, so look out for that. But yeah, let's go. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry.
After indescribable suffering and millions dead, the world
war.
learned its lesson and never had such an awful war again.
Just
for
wait.
about 20 years.
Yeah, exactly. It's so stupid, the Treaty of Versailles. It's the most stupidest thing ever in the world. Yeah, I just remember that Sweden lost out of billions from Norway. Fuck you, Sweden. Fuck you, Norway. I hate Norway. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, I love you. You know why. But yeah, this video was actually really, really good. I learned a lot in the two parts. Like a lot. So I'm pretty happy about this video actually. It was oversimplified, of course. I really learned stuff in an oversimplified way, which is actually pretty nice. I don't remember much now, but you know, I'm probably gonna watch these two videos again to learn. But I also wanna see more in depth what happened, why happened, like Versailles and why Versailles was there, and Somme and Verdun and stuff like that. So you might wanna watch out for more videos from me like this. But yeah, thank you for watching. I loved this, and I hope you love this as well. It's really funny, actually. I'm surprised about how funny it was. For example, the first part actually pretty funny as well. I'm actually gonna watch more of his videos, so I might watch World War II Oversimplified. I learned a lot. I mean, it's funny, and I learn a lot. It's better than school, let me tell you that. It's so much better than school. I hated history in school. Now I love it. I really love history. So yeah, thank you for watching. And don't forget to subscribe and like, all that. Their little bell or whatever. I don't know what YouTube has now. But thank you. And I'll see you again. Sorry for stopping so much. Sorry for the sun being an asshole. Can you go away? But yeah, still, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And thank you to Tank the Tech again for giving me confidence to do this. And I will see you in the next video. Thank you.